Nope, I won't give it up. My guilty pleasures after 70 and self-indulgence, I'm not giving it up, and I have no guilt about it. Stay tuned. Hi, and welcome to my channel. Thank you so much for being here. Well, today I'm talking about guilty pleasures that I don't think we should have any guilt over at all. I think most of us have guilty pleasures, even if we don't admit them. Now, you that have been with me for a while are going to guess a few of them because I talk about it all the time. Okay, well, let's start with the first one, the obvious one, and that is chocolate. You all know how much I love chocolate, and I don't eat it to feel like an emotional need or to give myself a little treat. I eat it because it's delicious and I love it. The good thing is, at this age, I don't have to apologize for it. I don't have to have an excuse for it. I do it because I enjoy it. It brings me joy. I've earned it, and I won't give it up for nobody or nothing. I will tell you, and those of you that are chocolate lovers like me, when that first bite goes in your mouth, oh my gosh, it is just so divine. I love it. And it just makes me crave more. So I'm going to have a piece or two or three or whatever I decide. Number two is going to be obvious when it comes to me, and that's my morning coffee and my morning coffee ritual. Oh my goodness. As soon as I wake up, and thank God that I did wake up and I can stand up, then I head down that hall straight for that coffee pot. When I get that cup of hot coffee in my hands, oh my goodness, it is so much pleasure for me. I sit outside on my patio in the wee hours of the morning holding that coffee and sipping it so often, I hardly take a break. And I just think, oh my goodness, I get another day of this life, another day of coffee, which I love. And the more I sit there and drink it, the more grateful I get. I just start thanking God that coffee is around, that I have my coffee pot and I get to drink it. It's may be considered a small pleasure in somebody's life, but boy, it's a big part of mine and a big part of my morning ritual. When we were younger and raising our families, mornings were hectic. I mean, you would run in, grab a cup of coffee, and then you're packing school lunches, getting the kids ready for school, getting yourself ready for work. So you're running around the house carrying your cup of coffee and trying to take a swig here and a swig there. But that morning ritual that I get now, because I'm over 70, I'm retired, I'm home, that's when you really, really appreciate the coffee. The third guilty pleasure that I enjoy every day are those little luxuries. I mean, they're big to me, but just the little things that make you feel special. It could just be a tube of lipstick from Walmart, or you see a shirt or a pair of shorts or something that you like. You don't need it, but you like it. You like the color or you like the style, and you figure, what the heck? I can enjoy this. I've earned it. I deserve it. And I'm going to give myself this little luxury. That can go a long way. And number four for me, as far as a guilty pleasure, is not having to explain the little extras. The extra things in life that you enjoy. So, for example, kind of like what I was just talking about, if you see, I don't know, a bouquet of flowers in the store, in the grocery store, and they're pretty and you'd like to have them, you don't need them, but they would look pretty in your kitchen and they make you smile and you love the colors, get them. It's something extra, but you deserve extra because you're special. If I want extra icing on my cupcake, then I'm going to have extra icing. I'm not going to feel guilty about it. You know, we've had to deny ourselves things throughout the years, and, we're told to be practical and, that kind of thing. And I do believe in being practical. But when it comes to these little pleasures in life that can bring us seniors a smile, just make us feel happy and alive and deserving, I'm going for it. And I sure hope you are too. Number 5 on my list of guilty pleasures is dancing and listening to my music. Do you ever listen to music that you loved when you were younger? It kind of takes you back to those days when you were just full of life and experimenting and having fun and trying so many things. Well, I like to take that trip back there. I know I'm not ever going to be that young again, and maybe I can't move as fast or do the same dance moves I used to do, but I can still do it. I just might be a little slower. So when I play that music that takes me back to that time, I sing along with it. I dance. I just embrace it and I can picture where I was when that song came out and how I felt about it and how many times I listened to it. Just all the good things. I mean, the rhythm of who we were, who I was back then, it hasn't gone anywhere. It might have changed a few beats here and there, but it's still deep within me, and I am going to enjoy it. Well, now I have a couple inner guilty pleasures that are more like about emotions and spirituality, but they're very important to me. Now, one of those inner guilty pleasures is saying no. It took me most of my life to be able to say no. And I know we've talked about this before in comments, but if you don't want to do something, if it just doesn't feel right, if it doesn't interest you, there does not have to be a reason. I love now just being able to say no. It just flies out of my mouth. We used to never say no because, we didn't want to disappoint anyone or let anyone down. It's so good to have that gone from my life now. I don't think it's rude to say no. I think it's self-respect. And I believe we need to respect ourselves. So saying no without any guilty feelings is an absolutely wonderful guilty pleasure that I'm never going to give up. Took me too many years to get it. The next inner guilty pleasure is the pleasure of being still. I'm not talking about being lazy. I'm talking about being still. Now, those of you that know me, I don't sit around. I don't take naps. I'm not lazy. I have no interest in any of those things. But I really appreciate the power of being still, the power of being able to be by myself, sit with myself, enjoy the quiet, not think about anything if I don't want to, not to be doing anything. Just sit there and be still. Oh my goodness. That was a hard one for me to learn because I'm such a type A, fidgety kind of person where something always has to be moving. But now that I know how to be still, there's no guilt about feeling that. And it's not about like doing nothing. It's about doing something for me, giving myself that quiet time, that peace, that stillness. I'm worth it and I'm taking it. Another emotional guilty pleasure of mine is speaking my truth. And I'm not sugarcoating it for anybody. Now, of course, I speak it kindly and I'm honest, but I am going to speak my truth. I won't be silenced by anybody. It's just great to not care what somebody else may think of me. There is so much relief and freedom in speaking from the heart. And you know what? I mean, I feel this way. If you speak your truth to someone else, they will feel comfortable to speak their truth back. And that's when you're going to have a real and honest and in depth conversation. And you end up loving people for who they are, not who they pretend to be. So, girls, that guilty pleasure is staying with me. I will speak my truth from here on in. Another emotional, spiritual, guilty pleasure that I so enjoy is peace over pressure. I mean, who needs pressure? Just because the world says we should do this trend or that trend or this is going on or that's going on, we don't have to get into that. Just because the world may expect perfection, we don't have to be perfect. And just because the world may like the noise and the chaos and the friction and the division and just all the things, we don't have to choose that. None of it. We can choose peace over pressure. We don't have to be pressured into doing the things or watching the things or feeling a certain way just because it's the thing to do. No, we can choose peace, and that's what I choose. That's one of my guilty pleasures. I'm not going along with anybody else. I don't buckle under any pressure. I live my life in peace because I know what really matters. Well, I have two more I want to mention. One of them is giving myself grace. I never did that before. I never even would have considered it. I would beat myself up for past mistakes or wrong choices or whatever. Not anymore. One of my guilty pleasures is giving myself grace in all things. It just lightens everything in your life. And you know what? Something that I learned when you give yourself grace, you start learning to give grace to others. It becomes natural. So that's a guilty pleasure worth having. And the last emotional guilty pleasure I'll share with you is living every moment to the fullest. I mean, living each day, each moment. Oh boy, when I look back, my goodness, I didn't live every moment each day. You're either thinking about the past or waiting for the next shoe to drop or wondering what the future's going to be. Such a waste of precious time because we can't do anything about the past. We don't know if the next shoe's going to drop and what it may be, and we certainly don't know the future. So, living and enjoying the moments of each day is is just the best gift we could ask for. Doesn't have to be anything big or exciting. Just watch the sun come up if you happen to be outside. Search for the bird you hear chirping. You know, enjoy the moment when you're talking to someone and they start laughing. Be in that moment where they're laughing and enjoy it. Really appreciate it. You could be so busy in your mind, you have stuff going on that somebody is laughing and you just don't even pay any attention. I mean, you don't even acknowledge it. Take that moment to feel what they're feeling. Look at their face. Look at their face light up and hear the laughter coming out of them. My goodness, those are wonderful moments that we in the past were too busy to enjoy or pick up on or even pay attention to. Now, at this stage in life, those are precious moments that we need to be into each and every day. Well, now I would just love to hear from you. What are your guilty pleasures? Share it in the comments, and we all read the comments and we could talk back and forth. Say what your guilty pleasures are as far as, the things like I talked about, the candy, the coffee, whatever, or your emotional guilty pleasures. Like I said, I think we all have them, and it shouldn't be a secret. We don't have to keep that to ourselves anymore. We can shout it out to whoever wants to hear it. We're allowed to have guilty pleasures. We've earned our guilty pleasures. We're not hurting anybody. So come on, girls, speak it up. Let me hear about your guilty pleasures. Well, with that, I'm going to leave you with an inside beauty tip. My inside beauty tip comes from Ecclesiastes 3:13. Everyone should eat and drink and take pleasure in all his toil. This is God's gift to man. For a long time, I thought guilty pleasures was just that, something you should feel guilty about. But I don't think so, because Ecclesiastes 3:13 tells us that we should eat, drink, and enjoy the good from our labor. That's a gift from God. Why would we feel guilty about that? Maybe these guilty pleasures are God's way of saying, you've done good. Now enjoy it. Enjoy the blessings I have given you in your life. Enjoy the things you've worked for. Savor the chocolate, the coffee, whatever it is that are your guilty pleasures. These guilty pleasures aren't selfish. They're reminders of the goodness that God gives us in every season of life. So if you're an old girl like me, or you don't even have to be an old girl like me, enjoy your life. Give yourself the, the pleasures that matter to you and don't feel guilty about them. No more guilty pleasures, just pure pleasure. I thank you so much for being here today. I truly do appreciate it. And until we meet again, this is the old girl signing out. See ya.